My name is Kathleen Riley, and this year I was given the opportunity to intern in a 4th grade classroom at Luton Elementary School in Lansing, Michigan. Before TE 405, I believed that, in order to engage my students in a class discussion, I simply needed to come prepared with questions and my students would take care of the rest. I've come to learn that this is not the case. Now, I believe that having a structured discussion with anticipated answers to questions and available talk moves is a lot more beneficial to students because I can guide them to a place where they can work together independent of my guidance to form their opinions and work together to come to a consensus on an argument. In text-based discussion, it's best to use a text that gives a lot of detail or evidence to support the main idea. Usually, with younger students, it is best to go with a nonfiction text so that the ideas are more explicitly stated. This will give students ideas on what to draw from during the discussion portion of the lesson. As the students get older, we can introduce more fiction into this discussion format because they will be able to pick up on more ambiguity and be able to accept a wider variety of ideas based on the evidence given in the text. During a text-based discussion, my students and I are on the floor, all on the same level, and my students are raising their hands or using hand signals to speak one at a time. I will be calling on students unless they show me through their actions that they can discuss productively without the interruption of hand raising. Before discussions, I, as the teacher, will be reminding my students of our productive discussion norms so we can always get through our discussions in a productive and polite manner. During discussions, I will be asking main questions and scaffolding upon student responses in order to facilitate discussion. I will not be taking individual answers without evidence. Instead, I will be asking other students if they have responses, expansions, or retorts that they would like to add. I will use many different talk moves we've discussed in class to encourage a variety of student responses. After the discussion is over, I will go over the major points that my students have made and make sure that all of my students understand them and review any points we may not have covered in order to meet our lesson goals. To support my students in considering one another's thinking, I can use talk moves such as building on prior knowledge, linking contributions, and keeping the channels open, as well as recapping and challenging. These talk moves keep the students on their toes in a way that forces them to listen to one another and be ready to talk about their ideas without me intruding too much. For example, I can challenge a student's idea with an idea posed by another student in one sentence. This keeps all student ideas relevant to the conversation at all times while keeping the students engaged with one another rather than being pulled away from the discussion for me to make a point. In order to support my students in using evidence to support their thinking, I can use recapping, pressing for accurate and sufficient information, pressing for reasoning, and expanding reasoning. These are all talk moves that foster a further explanation of student ideas that puts the responsibility of the explanation on the student instead of on the teacher. By giving the students this responsibility, they can give more thought to their supporting evidence and be ready to share it more readily. These talk moves, along with sufficient wait time, will give students opportunity to learn how to share their opinions in a detailed and evidence-based way. In the future, I will allow my students to be the leaders of my literacy instruction. Whether it be showing me their skills so we can develop learning strategies together, using their writing freedom to come up with their own ideas to write about, or allowing them to participate in active and engaging discussion, my students will know that where they lead, I will follow, and when I follow, I will teach to their goals.